My name is Tommy Skrenes, and I'm the developer of this system called Vortex Crystalline Water. I have over 35 years of research in the subject of water and trying to make water as good as possible, especially for human consumption. The thing about this system is we have mounted it on this board. A lot of engineering went into this, and there's a metal bracket, so it slides right under your kitchen sink. It's only 6 inches wide, and it's 17 by 19, the other dimensions. And it's going to have aspects of science, and it's going to have aspects of metaphysical and other forms of things we've been looking at from thousands of years of research. The first part of this system is a filter back here, and it's called a 5-micron filter. And what this does is it starts to get sediment out of the water and prepares it for the next filter, which has something called KDF in it. And that most companies aren't using. It's quite expensive media, but it also kills organisms, viruses, parasites, pathogens, fungi, molds, etc., and cleans it from the water. It also takes out chlorine and chloramine from the water. The second part of that filter back there is called surface enhanced catalytic coconut carbon. It's the most advanced form of carbon for taking a lot more things out of the water. And so since this is just our beginning video, we'll go through with charts and explain everything that's actually taking out. Now, when you put these three filters together, it makes the perfect pre-filtration for the reverse osmosis membrane. The reverse osmosis membrane is kind of the gold standard in filtration, and it actually goes down. It filters microscopically even down to the size of viruses, and so that's going to get 97% of things out of the water. The water then goes to this next filter called a cation filter. So the cation filter is a very special filter because it's at this point getting everything out of the water. There's over 100,000 chemicals in our water today, and some really horrifying things such as forever chemicals, microplastics. The list goes on and on. Again, this will be on our other videos where we're going to list everything out so people can see what it's actually filtering. The great thing about this cation filter is that at the end of its job, it produces something called carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is a mild acid that then converts the magnesium oxide in this chamber into something called magnesium bicarbonate. So that mimics the magnesium we find in nature. And it's not something you can actually buy in stores, but it's the most absorbable form of magnesium for the human body. The reason we don't use other minerals is we're not trying to put minerals. We think you can actually make the water toxic again if you start putting a bunch of minerals back into the water. But magnesium bicarbonate is perfect because, one, it tastes good. Two, it raises the pH a few percentage. We do not want to create alkaline water. I personally don't think alkaline water is good for the human body, but we will raise the pH by adding this magnesium bicarbonate. It's also very easy on the human body. Stabilizes the water because if water is too pure, it can actually be corrosive in a certain way, like it can actually draw minerals and things out of the body. So the magnesium is wonderful. It stabilizes the water, and it tastes good. It just does everything that we wanted to do after over 30 years of research. The next step is behind here is a magnetic array chamber of powerful magnets. And we compress the magnets against the repelling ends against each other. And by doing that, it actually flips the damaged magnetic energy that's on most of the water on this planet now. The magnetic energy is really off. So that does that, and then it gets it to correct itself. The next thing it does is it goes from above down through this vortex chamber here. So it has to vortex clockwise. This is just a lot of research and a lot more information on why. And theoretically, this vortexing increases cellular absorption, and also there's theories that there's something called orgone energy in the universe, and by vortexing clockwise, we theoretically believe it's absorbing the that energy into it. The problem with all water on this planet is it has memory. So memory has been debated on water for hundreds of years, and it's been scientifically proven that water holds memory. And it's been known for over 200 years in homeopathy that water holds memory. That's a whole other story. But water, in my opinion, has photographic memory. So whatever it ever touches, it will memorize that, and it will be on the water. Dr. Emoto from Japan, in his research, he found that water will hold emotional memory in the form of, under the microscope, and in a freezer, they could see that the water droplets look like a snowflake. And so the more distorted the snowflake, the more poor the emotional energy. In fact, he did so much research on that, and they also showed the benefit of positive emotional energies. And so we know that there's physiological memory, chemical memory, a lot of bad stuff water has touched on this planet. And it's just worldwide. The only way we can do anything about it is to try to figure out how do we get that memory off of the water and start with a clean slate. So one of the things that I designed was that when the water, as we get this water super clean and super as perfect as we get, we then want to run it through certain crystals. Now the crystals, we have a lot of empirical evidence through my research that they have healing properties, but we also found that there are certain crystals that will completely wipe the memory off of water, eliminate the memory, and start with a clean slate. And so we have a few crystals in here that do that. This is a hematite that does it the best, but some of the other crystals also contribute to that. So we're taking all memory off of water. There's something in water on the whole planet that we cannot get out of water, and this subject is going to require a video in itself, and it's called deuterium. And deuterium is also called heavy water. So there are companies in the world that have figured out how to lessen the deuterium in water. It's called deuterium depleted water. The lowest they can get it down to that I'm aware of is 10 parts per million. Deuterium is normally about 220 parts per million. And they've been able to get it down to 10 parts per million. However, to buy a liter of that water that's depleted in deuterium but still has deuterium in it is about $50 a liter. So it's not sustainable. And so I was trying to determine how we can take any water from anywhere and make it perfect. And so we have a crystal in here called the celestite crystal. And this works on what's called homeopathic principles, which we will be explaining in other videos. And so when the water touches that, it neutralizes the deuterium. So it doesn't get rid of it, it just neutralizes it so that the deuterium does not harm the human body. And we've had a lot of testing procedures to validate this. So we then keep going. In my research, I found that black tourmaline is one of the strongest repellents of and neutralization of EMFs, and we know we have a lot of problems with that. So we want to remove the EMFs from the water, and so we use black tourmaline. Scientifically, we know that quartz crystal, Brazilian quartz crystal, and Arkansas quartz crystal contains an electronic phenomena called piezoelectric effect. Now, piezoelectric effect is a scientific phenomena. We won't go into that right now, but I have found that it really helps the pineal gland, which there's a lot of talk today about the pineal gland being calcified and weakened, and which in turn could weaken a lot of our circadian rhythms and sleep and problems, and on a metaphysical side can weaken our intuitive abilities. So we have these crystals in there. Amethyst crystal has been used very extensively in helping the workhorse organ of the body, which is the liver. It's fantastic healing crystal, so we have that in there. And we really go through a total of 16 crystals. We have rose quartz, we have different types of calcite, we have jade, we have a lot of different crystals, all which I have determined have health benefits to the human body. And so that's the big part of this, which we'll go into discussions on what these actual crystals can do as far as that goes. The water then is really, not only is it clean, we've taken the memory off of it, we've neutralized EMFs and deuterium, and then we've structured the water with this whole thing of cleaning the water. Actually, under an electron microscope, it looks like the water looks like a honeycomb, the way the hydrogen and oxygen molecules arrange themselves. And this is actually was proven scientifically by Dr. Pollack from the University of Washington. He wrote an amazing book called The Fourth Phase of Water, if somebody wants to read that. This is where we get a lot of our information on structuring the water. But once the water is structured, it's so perfect now to add to it, which is what we do with the crystals. So we put this amazing energy into the crystals. When you drink this water over time, your body is supposed to be about 60 to 70% water as an adult, but all the proteins in our body have to use water to make them. The brain is 90% water. And so our body is walking water. And so it takes time to get that water out of our bodies and get this good water in our body. And so that takes anywhere from 30 to 90 days, especially after 90 days we've exchanged all the fluid waters in all of our cells of the body with this amazing water. And it's quite something. So that's the main aspects of this. The water then actually goes through a final coconut carbon filter here for a final polishing. The water basically has no taste. It just tastes completely clean and refreshing. And that in itself is a nice benefit to the taste of water. But people are reporting how much better they feel after drinking this water and trying to avoid drinking any other forms of water. This system comes with a 4.2 gallon tank that we do have different sizes. And also comes with its own faucet. It normally goes under a kitchen sink, but it can go anywhere like a laundry room or any place that has a drain line. And that's just the basics of this system.